Hi everyone, this is Julie. Thank you for stopping by for another video today. I hope you're having a fantabulous day today. And in this video, I wanted to touch on hybridization and GMO, particularly modern hybridization and genetically modified organisms, because we find that the food they're being tampered with more and more. And you will notice that over the years, over within a short space of time, you notice that you've gone from a situation where you could go into the supermarket and get some seeded grapes, for example, to now most places just seedless. The same thing is happening with watermelons, the same thing with limes, and other fruits. We're seeing this is becoming more and more the trend. And also, we're seeing that there are more varieties of fruits being made. Just like how they create new species of dogs and so on, there are so many species or types or varieties and it's the same thing that is being done with the food. And the reason I decided to do this topic is because I was looking at berries and then I was coming across some information. Oh, they're using this berry with that berry to produce this new type of berries and so on. And when you look at it, you realize that, the level of GMO has increased. There is hybridization, a different type of hybridize, and that there's more hybridization also. And so I just wanted to touch on that topic because, okay, we know that hybridization is a process of crossbreeding two different plant varieties to create a new one. And usually this is done to create specific traits, such as to create higher yield, faster growth, and for so-called better pest resistance. These are some of the reasons that are usually provided. And this is done in agriculture mainly because they say that they want to meet agricultural demands, improve the aesthetics of the food, and increase the shelf life of the food. And examples of some of these hybrids are like seedless watermelons and seedless grapes, seedless limes, and the modern banana. For example, the Cavendish variety has replaced traditional seeded bananas. We also see that most modern varieties of wheat, rice, corn, all of these have been hybridized and further hybridized. So some you may find that they create a new species using two different hybrid species, as well as it could be an original species and a hybrid. Sometimes it can be three different species, all hybrids used to create a new species of food. And so a lot of this is happening. Now when we look at genetically modified organism, because this is a whole nother beast also, because it involves altering the DNA of an organism, often by inserting genes from other species. Usually, the reason given for this is to combat crop loss, reduce farming costs, and to boost production. So, maybe a plant, for example, that produce once per year, they could reproduce it two, three, four times for the year. So, why are the hybridization and the GMO food a problem? One is the health concerns because there is reduced nutritional value. As Dr. Sebi pointed out, the molecular structure of these foods, they are incomplete. They don't have the nutrients that the body needs. When you hybridize, for example, you're prioritizing things like size and yield and appearance over the nutritional value of that food. It is not nourishing. Two, the allergenic reactions. GMO can produce certain substances that may trigger allergic reactions, especially in sensitive people. So this is why we also see a number of people suffering from allergies, various type of allergies, especially food allergies. And it's partly because of these Frankenstein foods. Then there's the potential toxins. Some studies suggest that GMOs could have long-term health impacts as a result of potential toxins from these genetically modified organisms. I can go a little bit more detail in it, but not for this video. You can check out the africanbiomineralbalance.com if you want more information. 2. Environmental issues. We're talking about loss of biodiversity. With hybrid and GMO crops, they are often used to replace indigenous varieties, reducing genetic diversity and making crops more vulnerable to pests and diseases. Also, soil depletion, monocropping, which is common with hybrid and GMO crops, deplete soil nutrients and lead to dependency on synthetic fertilizers. Pesticide resistance. Often they involve the overuse of pesticides and herbicides, which they note have led to resistant quote unquote superweeds and quote unquote pests requiring stronger chemicals. And that's the problem, because one of the things that is not being understood, whenever we throw something at Mother Nature, it ricochets. So what comes back could be good, what we term as good, or what we term as bad, depending on what we give. So if these plants are being sprayed with all these herbicides and pesticides and these weeds, nature will always try to combat that which is thrown at it. So yes, the weeds are going to develop resistance to these pesticides. The so-called pests, which are not pests, these are small organisms that have a natural role to play in nature. They are not pests. The ants have a role, the bugs have a role, and sometimes when you look and you go deep into looking at how they carry out their various roles to help to sustain life on this planet, even though we might look at them as insignificant. You know, the environmental issue is critical. You see, because the natural plants in their natural indigenous environment, they are a base for other life forms. They are a base for other life forms, and therefore, when they are supplanted with unnatural species, then that creates an issue. Now look at the third factor, which is the economic and cultural impact. Now, when we look at the corporate control, because we have to look at corporate control because they're trying to push more GMO seeds. But GMO seeds are patented by large corporations, and there are a specific group of corporations. It's not a large number of corporations, right? So we see that a small group of people want to control the entire food supply of the world, and they want to supplant indigenous seeds with GMO and hybrid seeds. Now, these GMO seeds are patented by these large corporations, and once farmers are using these seeds, they become dependent on buying these seeds annually, right? Instead of saving and replanting, which they usually do with the natural seeds. What we find is that, and this is why we have to be very watchful of what our governments do, because they often put things in legislation that the public don't even really know about or even understand for their own personal agenda or to meet the needs of whomever give them these objectives. And so what you find is that when you have a situation where farmers are being forced to use these types of seeds, you can see the long-term implication. We talk about the health concern, we talk about the environmental issues, and also there is the economic impact and the cultural significance of this also. So this is a problem because when farmers plant natural species, they have seeds. When you plant a natural seeded plant that have seeds that can grow, you can have seeds all year round. You can have seeds. You don't have to rely, as a farmer, you don't have to rely on anybody for seeds. You have seeds always to plant. You have seeds to share with other farmers, or to sell or trade or so among yourselves. But getting into this GMO is going to destroy our health, is going to create environmental havoc and also economic problems. And they keep telling us about, oh, climate change, this, that, that. Nature will always try to balance. It's like the body. The body will always try to balance itself however it can. That's why the body will pull calcium from the bones. It pulls calcium from the bone because it needs to pull calcium from the bones because it's in an acidic state. You understand? So it will constantly try its best to do whatever is necessary to survive. And that's what nature does. Dr. Sebi's nutritional guide emphasizes non-hybrid, alkaline, and natural foods as the foundation for health. And he recommended avoiding hybridized food, GMO foods, because they alter the natural electrical composition of the body. They contribute to mucus buildup and acidity, which disrupt the body's balance. Also, they lack the vitality of natural indigenous plant varieties. So, these are some of the reasons Dr. Sebi has tried to impart to us the importance of using natural species of plants. Now, one of the things that I must point out, because you will realize that some of the foods on Dr. Sebi list, they are not quote unquote wild per se. They have been domesticated, and that is the way of the world. Many of the foods that we consume have been domesticated to some degree. They may not have been GMO'd, but they have been bred and nurtured in a way to create certain outcomes. So that is also one of the things to note. But we also must remember that what Dr. Sebi said is that the list is a list of the least detrimental foods. He never said it was a perfect list. He said it was a list of the least detrimental foods. So what are we going to do moving forward to reduce the impact of hybridization and GMOs? Well, we're going to educate ourselves. We have to educate ourselves. I'm on the learning path also. I'm trying to investigate more and more about different foods, different types of foods. So we have to continue to learn more because as time goes by, this information will become even more critical. I cannot foresee a time when Dr. Sebi's teaching, when the information provided for Dr. Sebi will not be important. It will be important for a long, 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 long time. And it will be necessary for a long, long, long time. Now more than ever before. And so we have to educate ourselves and also we have to share that information as we learn it, as we are, coming in contact with it. And also, I want to point something out, but I just wanted to note that So we have to spread more awareness. We have to encourage community to support sustainable and biodiverse farming practices. A lot of the old method, the old way of farming without the pesticides and herbicides, some of these methods and ways have to be revisited. So we have to choose wisely and we have to try to choose more natural foods, focusing on heirlooms or indigenous varieties. We also have to look at fruits and vegetables with seeds. We also have to support organic and local farming. So we try to eat foods in their season and locally grown, because sometimes when food have to travel over long distances and from different countries, there are often various things that are done that may not be beneficial to the body to try to keep them fresh per se. And sometimes they are picked way too early, way before they're even fit. So we also have to look at those things. And also for, well, you can check for organic certification. And like I said, buy from local farmers who prioritize traditional farming methods, because people may say, no, all farmers are almost all are into the new style of farming. No, there are some farmers who are very much aware of what is happening and they don't like it. And they do try to farm, the traditional method, and some of them try to grow their products naturally. So we have to investigate and see where we can find these types of farmers and support them, or maybe if you have the land or the capability, you could become one of those farmers yourself. As time goes by, your products are going to be needed. And also growing our own foods, touching on that, we can plant heirloom seeds which are non-GMO and non-hybrid. We can save seeds from natural plants to ensure biodiversity and self-reliance. So maybe you're a person who you're not a farmer, or or so on. Maybe you don't want to be, but maybe you're a person who can play your part by saving seeds and selling these seeds. You can sell them to others or you can share them, etc. So you can play your part by doing that also if you so choose. Another way is that we can advocate for change, like correct labeling of foods so that at least one knows what is GMO, etc., so that when you go to buy, you at least have some information from where you can make your decision. And also, we have to be aware of the policies that are in place, because a lot of times the governments aren't thinking about what is necessarily beneficial for the people. So we have to look at promoting or advocating for policies and prioritize these um, policies that promote sustainable and diverse agricultural policies. And we have to be willing to face the issue of GMO and fertilizers in our foods head on. I think this one has gone on a little bit longer than I intended, and there's orchestra in the background. Hear it, hear it. I'm telling you, man, that foul. Sorry about that. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think below. And always visit the African Biomineral Balance, subscribe to it, because there are some things that would be on there that is not put on YouTube, for example. Yeah, so don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Please let me know your opinion down below. Like the video, share the video. Have a fantabulous day today. Ta-ta.